Hello everyone and welcome back to the Honor Club YouTube channel. My name is RateWrestle and today this is going to be my first solo video on the channel. So firstly we're going to discuss the Honor Club, my RateWrestle Awards that I do every year. This will be the first time they've been on YouTube. It's normally just a Twitter thing. And then what we're going to do as well is we're going to discuss, I'm going to review a solo show for myself, which is going to be Impact Rebellion. So stick around for that. So this is going to be more of a usual thing for myself because I watch different stuff to the other guys, RGX and Smooth Rock. So I watch a lot of the Japanese stuff like New Japan and Tokyo Japan Wrestling and DDT and Noah. But they don't really watch it as much as myself. So I'm going to be reviewing separately to them. So the main stuff is still going to be on the Honor Club podcast. But once a week I'll be doing my own episode of stuff I've watched during the week. But firstly, let's discuss the Honor Club, I keep calling it the Honor Club, the RateWrestle Awards. So in 2019 I decided to start reviewing matches, like rating them, like I've been watching since like 1999, 1998. But like in 2019 I just decided, you know what, I'll just rate them for my own hobby, my own fun. I created my own database and my own website for it just to keep my own self opinionated, but then people started to like them. I got a few thousand, like 1,000 followers on Twitter, just people and like wrestlers enjoy it as well on the odd occasion. Obviously some wrestlers don't like you critiquing their wrestling, but it is what it is. So on Tuesday we have decided with the podcast we're going to split it into 2 episodes a week. So the first episode of the week is going to be like a new segment / it's going to be the awards for the first few weeks, and then we're going to try and change it round, so it'll be stuff that RGX is planning going forward. Smooth might do some things. Then every Thursday or Friday, depending on when we're free, we're going to review the week's wrestling, so your Dynamite, your Raw, your Rampage, your SmackDown, NXT, if one of us can be bothered to watch it. Judging by what's happening now, it's going to get worse as we go along. But yeah, so this week on Tuesday it's going to be the start of the RateWrestle Awards, which is going to be the top company of the year and the event of the year. That's what it's going to be. So basically how the RateWrestle Awards work, it runs between May to April. So May, this year's was May 2021 to April 2022. And I rate each individual match. I rate every match individually, and then, like for example, like an event, you just add them all up and divide them by how many matches. The company, the exact same, etc. And then you get an overall rating. So everything's based upon the rating of the matches. So I don't do anything promo-wise and stuff. So it's just quality wrestling stars. So when you see the awards, you might not see a wrestler you think's a really good speaker, but he's not on there because I haven't enjoyed his matches as much. But yeah, so I'll give you kind of a rundown of the last 2 years that I've been doing it, just the awards. I won't go into detail with them, it just kind of gives you a kind of a hint at it. So there's 3 awards which I won't really go into, it's just basically who I've seen the most of in that year. So you have the Iron Man Award, so 2019-2020, that was Cole Fletcher. He was the person I saw the most matches of. Then the following year it was Matt Riddle. The Iron Woman Award, so the 2019-20 was Jordan Grace, and then 2020-21 was Oscar. And then the Iron Man Tag Team / Stable Award, so I mixed the Tag Team and Stable into one because there's not enough times where tag teams are just facing other tag teams. It's like an 8-man tag where it's 2 tag teams with other 2 tag teams, so I don't rate them as a tag team in that match. But 2019-2020 it was the Rascals, and then surprisingly 2020 to 2021 it was the Hurt Business. They were on a roll and now they're gone. Loved them at the time. So the other awards, so the ones we'll be going through on Tuesday. So Company of the Year, so the first year I did it was AEW, so it was their breakout year. And then 2021 it was Stardom. They had the most impressive matches for me that I believed in. Then the event of the years, 2019-20 was AEW Double or Nothing, and 2020-2021 was WWE NXT Takeover Vengeance Day, which was a very good event. And then we move on to Match of the Year, which was Double or Nothing, 2019-2020 Double or Nothing, which I loved, the Dustin Rhodes versus Cody Rhodes match, that was perfect. And then 2020 to 2021, the New Japan Wrestle Kingdom Day 1 match of Okada versus Will Ospreay. That was a classic at the time. Tag Team Stable of the Year, so 2019-2020 is Young Bucks. 2020-2021 was Queen's Quest from Stardom. Female Wrestler of the Year, we had Meiko Satomura for the first year, and then Io Shirai for the second year. And then finally, Male Wrestler of the Year, so the first year was Adam Cole with his NXT run, and then the second year was Kota Ibushi when he became champion. He was having class matches each year. So they're the last few years of awards, so when we go on Tuesday it will break them down more, so there's like a top 50 for each list, so we'll be doing company and event on the first Tuesday, then it'll match the next Tuesday, tag team, male, yeah, etc. You get it where I'm going. So it'll be more in depth than what I've done now. It's just to kind of give you an example of what's going to be going on. So yeah, look forward to that. Well, we're recording Tuesday. It'll probably come out Tuesday night, otherwise it'll be Wednesday morning. So that's what the RateWrestle Awards are going to be. So if we now, what we're going to do is we're going to go into my first solo review. So this is going to be Impact Wrestling's Rebellion 2022. So I watched this match because I saw it. I watched this event because I saw Moose and Alexander had a really good match according to the ratings. So I check out Cage Match to see what high matches there've been, and I'll watch the whole event to see who I've missed and just kind of get a general opinion. So it's broadened who I watch, because I was stuck in a loop where it was just Impact, NXT, WWE, AEW, and the UK stuff. But now I've started watching more Noah. I used to watch New Japan anyway, but I've been watching a lot more shows of them: Stardom, TJP, DDT, and then some of the American indie stuff. All I can think of in my head right now is No Violence, No Suffering, but you've got like IWA Mid-South, GCW obviously major at the moment, so you'll get a lot of reviews from them shows as it's been going on. But Impact Rebellion, the last show of the 2021 to 2022 kind of like qualification period that I'll be doing for my awards, which I'm going to work out tomorrow and get them all statted up for the page, and then we'll go through them on Tuesday. So yeah, we'll start going through. We'll do the usual thing where I'll rate the match, and then we'll look into Cage Match just to see who's actually crapped on a match, because it's always fun, because most of the time it's just someone that hates everything but they still watch wrestling. So Impact started off, it was Jay White versus Steve Macklin versus Chris Sabin. I'm a fan of all three guys. Jay White's brilliant, Chris Sabin's a legend, and Steve Macklin's doing pretty well in Impact. I haven't been watching it as much as recent, but he's been doing pretty good from what I can see. He came out with a Punisher face, which was good, the Punisher face paint of the skull, which was very fun to see. The issue with this match is the fans didn't seem like they wanted to see it. It just felt like the match was really flat from the fans' perspective. Like there was no cheering, like the odd kind of like Jay White too sweet, but there was nothing really happening. And the action was very sluggish as well. Jay White kind of picked it up. His offense was very good. He just looked very good. The spear spot that, so Macklin had Chris Sabin and Jay White and the Trio Woe in each corner. He hit Jay White with a spear, his running spear, and then he went to hit Chris Sabin with it, and he looked like a grim spot. He jumped out of the rope and he hit it hard on the outside. It was a very fun spot. And then what happened was, so this is just brief reviews, I'm not going to go play by play because you watch it if you want to see that. Chris Sabin hit Jay White with his finisher now, it's gone, the crucifix shock, I'm going to go with, it's definitely not that name. He hit it with him, and then Macklin rolled up Sabin with the crucifix pin, 1, 2, 3, so he stole the win. So I rated that 2.5. It didn't really pick up, it just felt like no one really wanted to see it. Like, from the 3 people in the match, you'd think it'd be a good match, it just didn't pick it up. I've looked on Cage Match and everyone has the kind of similar opinion. Like, a few people really loved it, and then a few people were like me, which was mid-range, so I'm not really going to speak out about it. Because as I said, we only really like the fun of seeing people randomly having negative opinions for no reason. So yeah, that was that match. Following up was a Josh Alexander segment with his wife and a kid, which was fun. It's basically Josh speaking to his family, saying he's going to make them proud, his wife saying going out there, make you proud, and then Scott D'Amore came across. And he basically calmed Josh Alexander down, because I've not been watching Impact, but I'm assuming Moose has been winding him up, trying to get him to be aggressive, so forth like that. But Scott D'Amore basically said, get him out your head, get your head in the game, like, don't just go in there all guns blazing and you're going to lose. So yeah, that was a very good segment. It just kind of, it's hype. Every segment that wasn't a match in this was just hyping the match going forward. The next matchup was Deonna Purrazzo. And she faced Taya Valkyrie, the returning Taya Valkyrie to Impact Wrestling, which was very cool. Her run in WWE, I was looking forward to, but they absolutely ruined that. But yeah, this was for the Reina de Reinas title, which I think means Champion of Champion in Mexican. If someone's watching from Mexico, let me know. So yeah, there was a bit more atmosphere to this. The fans were actually into it. There were some good spots. Taya hit Deonna Purrazzo with a lovely sliding German, so Deonna was sitting on the ropes. Taya slid underneath the ropes but caught her and threw her over at the same time. That was a good spot. Purrazzo's really smooth in the ring. Like, everything she does ability-wise is great. It always looks good. So she was looking great in the ring as well. Taya caught her with a sit-out powerbomb, which looked really good as well, and then she went into her a cross-legged STF, which looked like she was going to break her in half. There was some very good near falls, back and forth near falls, and then suddenly out of nowhere, the road to Valhalla, and Taya picked up the win. So I'm happy for that, because I expected her to win, because, you know, she's back in Impact. It's the Mexican title from AAA, and that's where she's from. And it just gives her the good win to come back. There wasn't really that many people that disliked it. I rated it 2 3/4, so I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it the first in the men's. Burning Lariats on Cage Match said this was a solid continuation of a great show. Taya Valkyrie was over with the live crowd, and Deonna Purrazzo continued to show why she is the ace of the Knockouts division. They wrestled at a strong pace, with Purrazzo showing how lethal her ground game is, and Valkyrie establishing some power. If this is a preview of the later matches to come, I'm intrigued. She rated it 5.5 out of 10, which in essence is 2.75 out of 5. So we're on the same length. So there was a Tasha Steele segment, which was basically her previewing her match with Rosemary, hyping it up, saying that she's going to beat her. She beat the greatest champ of all time, which I'm assuming she's alluding to Mickie James, which fair enough. This was followed by Ace Austin versus Mike Bailey versus Trey Miguel, which is for the Intercontinental Championship, the X Division champion. So you'll be used to me messing up random stuff in the podcast, so this will continue by myself, but no one's going to be able to pick up on it on me except me. So yeah, at the start they started double teaming Ace, which you expected, because Ace is like the cowardly heel, kind of athletic, cocky heel. It was really fast paced, the crowd were into it, which was good. There was an incredible moonsault spot where I can't remember if it was Ace or Trey had the other one in a Death Valley driver position where he was holding the ropes on the outside, and then Mike Bailey did his moonsault, that quick leap moonsault on top of him, which was very good. They're all so good, wrestling wise, and it was so smooth. It was fast paced. Everything was going on. There wasn't a break in the spot, so a spot would happen, and another spot would happen. Which in X Division matches, that's good. I don't mind not having a breather, because it's supposed to be like that. There was an insane German powerbomb spot, which was weird. So basically, I think it was Miguel was on the top rope, Ace was trying to powerbomb it, might be the vice versa. Then Mike Bailey ran up the bloke's body and germed him off, so it was like a German powerbomb spot. Then there was a spot where Meteora from Trey Miguel, but Ace Austin pulled out the ref before he could count 3 for Trey Miguel. And then it ended up the Trey Miguel won with the fold. So I was a big fan of this. I'm a big fan of Ace Austin, so it's good to see him getting the title back. So this was my highest rating of the match night so far, so I rated this a good 3 stars. It got a really high rating on Cage Match, 8.65 out of 10. The lowest rating was a 6, which in essence is what I would rate it on my scale, but I think my scale's different to Cage Match, so don't take that to kind of heart with it. So Cage Match 1, which is the user. The only fun match on the entire snooze test of the show, which is very harsh. Mike Bailey should be the world champion right now, which is insane. He's great, but you know, he's only just come over. Come on, calm down. And Josh Alexander's hype has died, I'm sorry, so he's just ranting in general about everything about Impact right there. I don't agree with that, but fair enough, we'll move on. So there was an Honor No More segment, which, you know, Honor Club feel proud about Honor No More. Just hyping the tag team gauntlets match. And then there was the match I was slightly looking forward to, which I didn't hear live up to the hype, which saddens me. Jonah versus Tomohiro Ishii. So it was going to be a hoss fight, and I expected it. I thought it was going to be a strong hoss fight, but it was just slow. Very, very slow. Not like I didn't expect it to be fast paced, but it was very slow. There was some good strong strokes, but there was no flow to the match at all. There was some good clotheslines, but Jonah clotheslined Ishii out of his shoes, and Ishii just stood up because it was a no-sell, which was gonna happen. Jonah hit a great headbutt on Ishii, which looked really good. Jonah was about to win, and he missed the tsunami power, the frog splash. And then Tomohiro Ishii just hit the brainbuster and just went over. There was no really... The atmosphere was there. It just didn't feel like a great match to me, which I don't know if I'm just really massive on Ishii, so everything I see I want it just to be like a 5-star slug match. But it just wasn't there. Like, it built at the end, the brainbuster kind of got it over for me. Like, I rated it 2 3/4, but it just... I wanted more from it, if you get what I mean. It is what it is, I'm guessing. So let's see, because Tomohiro Ishii was in it, so someone's probably going to bin on it. No, everyone was pretty much same middle of the road. Sky23 probably has a similar-ish opinion to me. This felt oddly tepid, still perfectly serves for action, but when you see the guys like Jonah and Ishii together, you expect to see two guys bumping meat and fighting out fairly equally. What we got was Ishii mostly uncharacteristically fighting underneath, which he was going to because he's fighting Jonah, who's a mammoth. I get that Jonah's your own promotion monster, but if you want to sell that, I don't know, maybe have him get over in the end, which that's how I thought Jonah was going to go over, but fair enough. This was followed by the Impact World Tag Team Champion 8-man elimination match, so it was just basically a gauntlet match. I'm not going to go into detail of this, I'm just going to have a quick run through. So you had the major players, which is Cardona and Myers versus Jordan Grace and W. Morrissey, which was a weird combination. One part of this quick match was there was a cool spot where Jordan Grace had one of them up for a powerbomb, and because Jordan Grace is quite small, Morrissey was able to big boot the guy in the powerbomb. It looked incredible. Morrissey was getting attacked on the outside, and Grace got rolled up and lost. They destroyed the players then. Morrissey battered them all outside. Morrissey powerbombed Chelsea Green for an announce table, because why not? Then entered the Good Brothers. They magic killed the players because they were battered. They picked up the win. Then you had the Dream Team of Swinger and Dice next. Ziggy Dice. Zicky Dice, is it? Zicky Dice, isn't it? Nothing really happened. Another magic killer, they were out. Swan and Mac, this was a good contest. They actually had a decent match. The other two lasted probably about a minute combined before the first part of it. There was a grum fall off the top rope for Willie Mack that looked horrible. Basically, he got pulled off the rope, but his leg landed in his hamstring. It was definitely planned, but it just looked horrible at the same time. Another magic killer. That's the end of them. Honor Club No More came out, which was the team of Bennett and Taven, the original Kingdom. This ended with Maria holding the leg, so basically I did a suplex spot. It was like the Ultimate Warrior versus, I can't think who it was, the Ultimate Warrior spot, where Ultimate Warrior's suplexing, he lands on his chest, someone lands on the Ultimate Warrior's chest, and Maria Kanellis was holding down the leg so he couldn't kick out. That's what happened in the match, so the Good Brothers lost. Then it was the good old team of Heath and Rhino. This was a bit more action-packed again. So there were a lot of squash matches in the middle, because you don't want an 8-man tag match to last forever, like 8 tag teams lasting forever. There was a quick-fire gore spot, and this got them over. I feel like I've missed a team here, but I haven't, I don't think. And then the final match was VBD, a Violence I can't remember what their name now. I'm going via it. It was Eric Young and Joe Doring. Violent by Design, I think their name is. I don't know why that didn't come out. Versus Rhino and Heath. So this was built because this is the kind of match that Rhino was in. Violent by Design decided to go back to Heath. So it's the build there. It was a very good matchup between them. It was just fun. Like, the wake-up call was delivered, and that was a good spot. You thought they were going to win, Rhino and Heath, but there was some near falls, and then Eric Young took over and he hit the pole driver. So that was the end of the match. I really enjoyed this. People didn't, but I just liked it. It was quick fire, some of it was some fun matches. It was a good match to me. I rate it 3 stars, which people probably think incredibly insane, but I enjoyed the matchup. But obviously, seeing as an 8-man tag, someone pooed on it. Let's find it. So Lee Blum. This was painful to watch. This is a 200-page essay. I'm going to read the first bits and then forget about it. The first elimination happened so quickly that I thought I must have been mistaken. My confusion was helped by the fact that there was no bell. The Honor More entry was very bad. So basically he's just pooing all over the match. I'm not going to read that because we'll be here forever. So that was continued from there. And then we had Rosemary versus Tasha Steele. Sorry. So I'm a big fan of Rosemary, so I was looking forward to this. And Tasha Steele's matches I've rated her in have been very good, so I was looking forward to this match. But it was just not what I wanted it to be. I don't know why. So Havoc and Savannah are outside. Tasha Steele's slapped Havoc, which meant Havoc grabbed that, which the ref saw, so she threw her out. So that was good. Some good heel tactics. As I said, I'm always been a big fan of Rosemary, which we're here. The fans just seem worn out, and I think I was just slightly worn out from this match. I think it was one match too deep for the card. Like, I'm not saying throw this match out, but I'm just saying it was just one match too extra, because obviously you're waiting for the main event now. It was just a bit back and forth. There was a distraction spot, which led to the end, which basically, Savannah put the title in the ring. She distracted Tasha. She distracted Rosemary. Tasha went to get the belt. Ref noticed Tasha had the belt, so Tasha's trying to distract the ref now, and then Savannah comes in and flipping yeets her in the face with a big boot. That happened. They didn't even lead to it, actually. There was a near fall out of the blackout, so that happened. And then Savannah got misted by Rosemary. She hit her with the spear on Tasha Steele's. She hit her with the spear. There was a near fall on that, which was pretty good. And then the Falcon Arrow win from Tasha Steele's and Rosemary. So I just rated this an average. It was the 2.5. It just didn't... I think it was where it was on the card. If this was the main event on Impact, it would be good. But I think it was just people were waiting for the main. It got a load of 4s. So Carlos Ryder, sadly, after giving Tasha several chances, I don't think she's qualified to be the current world champion. I've not seen the reign, so I can't discuss that. I've already decided not to compare her previous reigns, which were of great quality, but she just doesn't convince in various fights. She has been a champion. She doesn't fit with the public generating little reaction. I don't, as I said, I can't really comment on this kind of thing because I've not been watching it as much as I should. So basically, he's more panning Tasha Steele's than the match. But yeah, it was just an average matchup. And then here come the main event, which obviously was the match of the night. The big feud between Josh Alexander and Moose. So this was led up that I believe, if I remember, Josh Alexander won the title. Moose cashed in front of Josh Alexander's kid straight away, so Josh basically didn't have the bout. If I remember, quote me if I'm wrong with that, I think I just made that up in my head, or there was a bit of a run, then he won it. So it was cool at the start. Tiny Alexander, as I'm calling him, came down with Josh, fully Josh cosplayed. I really enjoyed this. I didn't write as much as because I was just laying back enjoying it. It was good back and forth. Josh Alexander hit like 10 German suplexes in a row on Moose, just kept hooked and kept going. It just had a big match feel, which was good. Like I said, I didn't write much notes-wise, so don't take this as I didn't like it, as you'll know by my rating. The head guard was knocked off, which Josh threw at Moose, which was good. It's just you never see Josh without his head guard, so that was good. He hit him with the C4 spike, I believe, but then Moose put his foot on the rope, so that was a good old-fashioned spot. Mammoth suplex off the top ropes, which Moose hit Alexander on. Alexander hit a stole splash and then went straight to an ankle lock, so that was a fun spot as well. The turnbuckle was exposed. I don't know how he did it, but Moose exposed the middle turnbuckle. He threw him into Alexander into the middle turnbuckle. That looked really good as well. He hit the spear, which was a near fall as well. Moose on Alexander, so that was a good near fall. Everyone thought that was over then, because obviously it's the heel winning, getting over. And then this led to the C4 spike again by Alexander, and that was the end of the match. So it was a really entertaining match. It topped off. You found it a decent Impact. A lot of people have been rating it like middle ground, but I found it a very decent Impact. I rated the main event a 4-star matchup. It was good. Dave Meltzer rated 4 1/4, so we weren't far off. So if it was an AEW, it would have been a 5-star. Bitterness right there for me. But yeah, it was very good. It was the match of the night. Someone rated it a 2, so I'm going to find this right now if they've actually had the balls. So Cage Match 1, he's back on here. So Cage Match Wrestling Observer, I think that is. I don't know how he's saying that. Just a boring match with no redeeming qualities whatsoever, I'm afraid. Aside from the fact that Josh Alexander won in the end, and the Souls Clash was fun from Josh. But yeah, that is it. It's just tediously long and boring match that got nobody over. Got Ash Alexander over, surprisingly. I think that's what they were doing, Cage Match. And Moose looked like shit. Don't think he did, Cage Match. And didn't bring anything to the match. I think you were just worn out from the event. Rewatch this match, because I don't think, if you watch it in a new light, I don't think you'd have this bad of opinion on it. But overall, yeah, Impact was a good card. I'd probably rate it about a 7. My ratings will be on Cage Match as well. But if you check out Cage Match, you'll see my ratings randomly on there. Or if you do, go on www.ratewrestle.co.uk. All my database is listed on there, so all the matches I've ever rated. You can check there on there to check out what I thought of the matches, what my top favourite matches are, and so forth. But yeah, so that was the end of Rebellion. It was a good event. It still doesn't make me want to watch Impact as much as, even though they're bringing in people like Ishii and Jay White and stuff like that, it's just still very, I can't bring myself to it. Don't know if it's because I've watched AEW and I'm forced to watch Raw and SmackDown because of RGX. But it's just not a new light. So yeah, that's the end of the video, guys. So we should do the usual spiel here. So as I said, check my website out, check the Twitter, RateWrestle. Check the Honor Club Twitter, which I think is Honor Club. I don't know what it is. Excellent. Just check Honor Club Wrestling. You'll find us on there. The links will be in the description. Obviously, subscribe, like, comment. I'd like to see any comments on, obviously, my ratings of the matches, what you think. Probably everyone hates it, which is always good. What you rate matches. Obviously, tune in on Tuesday to see the awards, which will be a fun show with us three. And then if you can comment down as well any matches, what I like is if you comment on the next shows, any events you think I should review in the future. I'm trying not now to watch any shows from previous to May as we get along now, because it'll just be adding for the overall stats I do, but obviously I won't be adding them onto the awards now, so it'll be a bit pointless. But yeah, guys, that's it. So I hope you had a good time. It's been going 28 minutes of me rambling on. But yeah, like, subscribe, and goodbye, everyone.